Welcome back to another Mental Health Mondays with Kate. Thank you for being here. Thank you to the new subscribers. I'm excited to have you. For those who want to jump on board and make sure you get the monthly newsletter called Kaleidoscope, go to www.katejmeyer.com and click subscribe, and you'll be added to that and get the next edition on April 1st. For real, no joke. So there's that. Today I'm continuing the series on Lent, mental health and Lent, and just a way for us to think about religious practices, religious constructs, and how they can negatively impact us, and what to watch for, and how we can then, once we become aware of the things to watch for, how we can engage in a healthy, productive way in these seasons. So this is the season of Lent. We are walking the road. We are following Christ towards the cross. And it's a season that can be a time of deep reflection, but it also can be a time when people either feel shame heaped upon them or cast shame upon themselves, because we are focusing often in Lent on where have I fallen short? Where am I failing? That's the language that we use. So as I've said in the last couple of weeks, this is not language that God uses. I personally don't believe that God looks at us and says, "You have failed." That is language that we continue to put out there towards other people and towards ourselves. So how do we navigate that road? Because we aren't perfect. There absolutely are places that we are not living into our best selves. We are not doing the best with what we have been given, with our gifts, with our time, with our talent, with our money. We're just not living up to that. So absolutely, there are ways that we can improve. And one of the best ways to do that is to have that deeper relationship, that deeper connection with God. So Lent can be a time when we can develop those things. So that's wonderful. We're going to talk about that. What I want to be cautious of is when you are either hearing from others externally or hearing from your own self this language of failure, because failure leads to shame. When we use that failure language, we have the connotation that we have heaped upon failure results in shame, and it's a false shame, and it's, we get enough judgment, we get enough struggle in our life that to heap more shame, to heap more of that upon ourselves is unnecessary added damage. So here's the reframe, right? Last week we talked about colors and the reframe of thinking about the ratio of ordinary time to morning time and how we can choose to focus on one or the other, and what we're going to live into. So today the reframe is this: consider who you are as God's creation. You are a created being. So who are you in your truest sense as God, the potter, continues to work on you? Who do you sense God is creating you to be? And are there places that you are resisting or are turning away, right? Sometimes we just straight turn away and no, I don't want that. I don't want to do that. Where do you kind of need to battle that out a little bit? Or where is a place that you are meant to go, and for whatever reason, again, external influence or your own inner voice, you have turned away from it. So look at this season as a time to answer one of those questions. Don't pick a million things, right? We just need just one is plenty. To use this season as the time to begin. You don't have to be done by the end of Lent either, by the way. To begin the process of deepening connection to God, knowing that doing so, knowing that deepening that relationship, deepening that connection allows you to become more fully who you were created to be, and therefore embrace life more fully. Doesn't erase the junk. It doesn't erase all the ups and the downs. What it does is it allows us to withstand, to somehow endure, to continue persevering when things are awful. In short, it allows us to hope, and hope sustains us, I believe. So in this season, if you are bent towards shame, you know the negative impact that shame has on your entire outlook of life, on your not only your mental health, but the toll that it takes on the body the longer shame is allowed to exist and persist in your life. So think on that. Rather than living under that cloud, how can you reframe the things that you look at yourself and feel shame about? How can you reframe them? How can you look at them from the eyes that God has for you and say, no, this wasn't my best self. But I don't have to be defined by that. I can redo this. I can, starting here, look forward and say, that no longer defines me. I'm going to release that shame. I'm going to release the guilt. And I'm going to say that with God's help, with the help of the community in which I'm placed, I'm going to start changing that, whatever that thing might be. Let's make Lent a time when we embrace the fact that we are not yet who we are created to be, from a place of wonder, from a place of anticipation and hope, from a place of encouragement for one another, from a place of desiring the best for each other, so that we aren't casting shame on other people, we aren't casting shame on ourselves, but instead we are championing the growth and development of ourselves and of our siblings in Christ. Change the tune of Lent for yourself. Reflective, yes. Growth, yes. Shame, no. Guilt, no. God's grace is not removed from Lent. It's not tied to the foods we choose to stop eating during this season. It's not tied to behaviors we choose to give up for a season, knowing that we're just going to pick them back up. Why not instead invest the time and the energy, perhaps the money, to start looking at who you are meant to be, who you are created to be, and start living into that. Start looking for the places that God has said, let's focus on this area now. Let's chip some of this away. Not to shame you, but to help you be you, because you're the only you there is. You are the only you there is, and you are worth taking the time to find out who you truly are. From a place of love, of grace, and of mercy. Whether I'm back next week or not is yet to be determined. I am traveling next week. And so I don't know that I will film. I might not. So if I don't, then in 2 weeks, I'll kind of do a 2-for-1 or something. I don't know. We'll see what happens. Again, subscribe to the website if you would. Consider subscribing also to the YouTube channel, where the entire library of Mental Health Mondays exists. And once you do that, if you click notifications, then you'll just get them. You'll just know that a new one is out. So go and live your day from a place of love, of grace, of mercy, free of shame, knowing that you are a created being, and go on that search of who you are meant to be. Be well, friends.